Hello guys, it's Aaron here from Mecha Alliance, and we are finally at the third part of the Soul of Chogokin Tryon 3 review. And this will also be the final part of this review, which has stretched out much further than I expected. But anyway, here goes. This figure looks absolutely stunning with a very balanced proportion and quite hefty, probably slightly more than a Metal Build Gundam even. I really like that Bandai developed a way to store the Sora head and the Umi tail for the Chogokin, which wasn't in the original specs. The paint job is stunning with very defined and balanced color palette. The use of multiple types of gold, bladed, metallic, and just plain yellow really give it a non-monotonous style and give it a more premium feel. For a builder at the caliber like Sakai, going this far is only normal. Now let's talk articulation, starting from the top. The head is a very standard merry-go-round with slide up and down. For the body, there is no hip swivel or side to side since the connector is a square peg, but there is some ab crunch on the figure thanks to the Umi Tryon. The shoulder armor is on a separate part where it can rotate on its own with an opening flap on the front and the back. The entire shoulder connector of the body can move slightly up and down this much, and the entire arm can rotate 360. Just need to mind the armor. The top panel can move out as well, as swivel on its own axis. On the arm, we got a standard swivel here on the biceps. Another point I really like is we get a separate swivel down there, which is really helpful with posing. Similar to the high-grade Destiny Gundam. We got a pretty solid die-cast double-jointed elbow. It can go this deep. The arm blades can rotate on its own, which is very flexible for poses. The separate blades can also flip up and down like so. The hands are on a standard swivel peg, not a ball joint, and that's no problem because thanks to their transformation gimmick, it gives it up and down movement anyway. The front skirt is your very standard up and down. For the side ones, which are Sora's wings, it can flap up and down as well as swing back and forth. We got a pretty decent spread, plenty to do that double zeta pose. It can kick up quite far, and thanks to the swinging hinge that you usually see in newer high-grade and 30-minute mission kits, it can extend the range of the kick. The large and small talon can swing up and down like so to recreate the scene in the anime. Each of the small claws here can also swing in and out. The thigh has a full 360 swivel. It is very tight with a lot of die cast, so make sure to hold the figure steady when you do move it. For the feet, we have a very nice pivot, and the transformation gimmick allows it to bend down quite far. The entire feet can also move up and down, pretty good range. As demonstrated in the transformation sequence, they can go all the way around too. For the knee, we have around a 90-degree angle bend. Due to the bulk of the legs, there's not a lot more room to bend, but it should be enough for most poses. Overall, the figure is very similar to other Soul of Chogokins, prioritizing looks and combination gimmicks over articulation. However, thanks to the combination being quite separated for the limbs, it is possible to engineer the usual Gundam articulation in. The hips could have used a bit more range, but they focus on filling it with die-cast to make him stable and hefty, which is also a good highlight for Soul of Chogokin figures. The leg mechanism might seem a little bit fragile and fiddly at first, but once everything locks in, it's super solid. Overall, it can pull off all the poses we saw in the anime with ease. Now let's take a look at the accessories that the figure comes with, and we all know what we bought this figure for. The Hyper Minovsky Chogokin. To assemble this glorious Obari sword, we'll take the Sora's head here, attach the two wings effect parts that comes with the figure. If you want, you can also attach the two beam sabers to the sword. It makes it a little bit heavier, so you can remove it if you don't like it. Next, we'll take the giant beam blade, which is absolutely massive. and jam it into the Sora's throat. And there we have it, the glorious Aubrey sword pose with the Chogokin. The Chogokin is a clear reference to other Aubrey's works such as the Dankuga Nova, the Gravion, and the Brave series. So in the anime, when deploying the Chogokin, the handle of the sword comes out of the Liger's chest, similar to Daltanius and the SRX, and Bandai gives us the effect parts to replicate the scene as well. We got a slightly smaller sword handle, and an effect parts that you can attach to that part, and then stick it inside the Riku's mouth to replicate the scene from the anime, which looks pretty awesome. Next we get the Double Zeta Beam Sabers, which is currently attached on the cannons on the back. You can slide it off the racket quite easily and attach the beam effect, and voila! You get 2 chopsticks to eat noodles with. The handles also have these tabs you can slot into the hands to keep it secure, although without it there should still be no issue. Next is the Gurren Lagann and the Great Mazinger reference, the Boomerang Stagger. As the name suggests, the Tryon 3 can use its V-fin as a giant boomerang, and the figure includes a gigantic V-fin for that. It can be slotted into the hands to simulate the weapons, although if you want to custom a perfect grade 160 Tryon 3, then you can probably use this. And last but not least, we cannot forget the OG Super Robot move, the Rocket Punch. The forearms of the Tryon 3 can detach from the elbow and attach to this booster effect to simulate the arm booster attacks. The figure also comes with 2 smaller stands to attach to the arms, and those stands can attach onto the base that the figure comes with. Overall, the Soul of Chogokin Psycho Kido Tryon 3 is a great figure, one of the more worthy Soul of Chogokins released recently. It is also a milestone for the Gundam franchise and the Build series timeline as well, since there have been literally 0 figures from the Build series aside from the girls, only model kits, and the fan favorite Tryon 3 blasted its way into the Soul of Chogokin line is a huge unexpected surprise. The first Gundam Soul of Chogokin and the first Gundam Build figure. The Tryon 3 represents so much and its quality matches the expectation. There are some improvements to be made for the articulation, especially the torso, but it has achieved what it needed to be. A premium figure that towers over other Build Tri model kits to recreate the scenes from the anime where it literally dominates the entire fight. And this guy would sit perfectly with all the other super robots in your collection. I highly recommend this figure if you can afford it. And that's it for the review. Thank you guys for sticking around. Please give us a like and subscribe if you like this review and for further mecha content as well. This is Aaron. See you in the next one.